Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this video. I know it might not be the most exciting video that you've watched, however, it will be informative. So I appreciate your time and your listening and attention. So I just wanted to pull us all together. I became the ASB advisor in 2018, and since then, especially in the last few years with Deborah and Brian, worked really hard to create some clear systems and policies and procedures to help us follow the laws that we need to be following and get everybody on the same page so that it's really clear and easy to manage all the money that we are entrusted with. So that's kind of why we decided to create this video as an ASB. The students on the executive board thought it would be really beneficial to all of us to get us all on the same page. So moving forward, we can keep working toward full compliance. The first section that I wanted to really touch on is budgeting. So every year we ask that you go back to your projected budget sheet and fill out your actual expenses and revenue. And that gives us, or gives you really, a really clear picture of how close your projections were, and then can help you, and you can use it as a tool to create the projected budget for the following school year. So although the end of the school year actual expenses and revenue is not required, I would highly recommend it, as it gives you that good, clear picture of what adjustments might need to be made for the following school year. What is definitely required is for you to complete your projected expenses and revenue for the following school year. It needs to be as clear as possible and outlined as as detailed as possible, including as much information as you have. I encourage you to collaborate with the students to think about and brainstorm together, like what are some fundraisers we want to do this year, and what are some events we want to put on this year, and what do we think those will cost, and kind of use this opportunity to put all your heads together and brainstorm together, like what are some things we want to see happen this year. So please make sure you do that. We have had challenges in the past getting every advisor and coach to take care of that. So if you could do that, that would be so helpful to us. Otherwise, we have to kind of create a budget for you, and we don't know your club like you do, and that can be really tricky. What I want to add to that is, if you need to amend your budget, we can do that after we've submitted it. But it just is a process, and so if you can be really thoughtful with your initial budget, it's super helpful to us. So we have less paperwork, and that's always a good thing to do, less amendments. Okay, the next thing I want to be clear about is that we collaborate with Brian to create and submit an ASB budget that encompasses all the ASB clubs. So FFA, QSA, band, choir, we have Honor Society, I said QSA, all the sports are in there. I think those are all the clubs that are happening right now. I might have missed one. Drama, thespians. So we create this whole budget for all of us, and we compile all of them and submit them to Brian. We can't do this without you. The next thing I want to talk about is that you can spend money on 4 different things. You can promote culture, athletics, recreation, or social aspects of our campus. Any of those 4 things, they kind of refer to them as the CARS acronym. You're allowed to spend money on any of those 4 things. Okay, here's a big important one. We cannot spend more money than we have, or more money than we've budgeted. Okay, so even if we plan to raise the money, if we don't have it, we can't spend it. Meaning, if you have a $5,000 bill that's due on April 1st and you have $2,000, you know you're going to get the other $3,000 at the end of the month, you cannot spend that $5,000 until you get the other $3,000. It's super important. We, tying to that, have had a lot of requests even this year to backdate and approve expenses that were several months ago and already spent. We really can't do that. We need to pre-approve purchases and pre-approve fundraisers before they happen and before it's spent. Why? Because it puts us as an ASB in a really tricky position. It feels like we have to approve it because the money's already been spent. But not oftentimes, but I would say there have been maybe a handful of times this school year even where the students have questioned the expense and even kind of wanted to deny an expense, but felt like we had to approve it because the money was already spent. So please get those requisitions in and purchase orders and fundraising forms all in to Deborah before the event or before the purchase. It's super important. It's a big thing that we really need to implement next year. Okay, the next part is about fundraising. I reached out to a few advisors who I feel do a really good job consistently fundraising, and asked them for their advice so I could share it with you. And here is what they've said. The first is from Jen Galbraith, our head volleyball coach. She said, what we have found is that our fundraising success is a direct result of making it a priority and having a dedicated support system of parents and families who believe in the vision of Mount Baker Volleyball. Building a successful program requires a collective effort, and our achievement reflects the commitment of many. While there may be no secret formula, the key lies in recognizing the financial needs essential to the growth of our program. Whether it's securing new jerseys, providing opportunities for camps, or offering financial assistance to ensure every athlete has the chance to participate. Without fundraising, the volleyball program would struggle to provide the best opportunities for our athletes. I think that's helpful. And she has 6 tips. Number 1, keep the big picture in mind. Remind yourself and your athletes why you're fundraising. It's not just about the money, it's about improving the program and giving players the best experience possible. Number 2, make it a team effort. When the entire team and their families are involved, it creates a sense of accountability and unity. If everyone does their part, then the burden is lighter for all. Number 3, set clear goals. Have a specific fundraising target and break it down into smaller, achievable milestones. For example, we need $5,000 for new jerseys. Let's aim for $1,000 a week. Number 4, choose engaging fundraisers. The more enjoyable the fundraiser, the easier it is to get volunteers and stay motivated. Fun events like youth volleyball camp, serving contests, or themed tournaments keep energy levels high. Number 5, get creative with promotions. Use social media, team pages, and school announcements to keep excitement up and remind people to participate. And number 6, remember who benefits. Fundraising directly impacts the players in the program and the school community. Keeping that in mind helps maintain motivation even when it feels like a grind. The next people I spoke with are the FFA advisors, Mr. Reitmeyer and Ms. Lenson. So thank you. Here's what they said. Clearly articulate to students what the money is going to be used for, since they are the ones who are selling it. Advertise not just at school, but use Facebook, YouTube videos, and have kids say what they're fundraising for and what they hope to gain. Also, be sure to coordinate with other fundraisers. In the past, they shared that they were competing with band and choir and sports, and one time they had a group of junior high students and high school and FFA all selling Little Caesars discount cards. The next tip, people will buy a product they want. Candy and treats don't sell usually since we can't sell them at school. As of early 2010s, they were denied selling something at school. A friend of Mr. Reitmeyer's in Eastern Washington sells pre-made enchiladas, and buyers can pop them in the oven. They're health department approved, and he said that they make about $10,000 or more on that, and it's a school much smaller than ours. Another helpful tip is that online ordering makes things easier, and you can do that by walking through the process with Brian Fraser in the office. Another helpful tip is that the advisor needs to make it worth your time. So if they're spending 10 hours of their own time and make $300, is it really worth it? Next tip, keep great records and receipts. Here's the next one. I think somehow making a community event or the public getting something is really helpful. Obviously, they know that they're supporting a good cause, but to make it something worthwhile for them to receive and a good deal is really good. In addition, making sure there are clear expectations that the students are receiving the funds and exactly what the funds are for. Attending a leadership conference, or funds for them to perform or buy new scripts for drama. And then when the funds are spent, actively showing the community how those funds were spent. Like, these 6 students performed or competed today at blank, and this is how they did. This is a result of the funds you donated, something like that. Clubs are their own best promoters, and if they aren't going to advertise their activities or successes, the community isn't really going to know about it. The next person I talked to is Tiffany. She's our girls basketball coach, and she mentioned that their main fundraiser is program sponsors, and she asks every student to bring at least one. She tries to do something fun or some sort of incentive for whoever brings the most. She also personally reaches out to a lot of local businesses to help get things started. She mentioned that one year she had 2 very competitive girls who went above and beyond, but that helped set their account up for success for years to come and built a good foundation. She said that honestly, it's usually herself and then 2 or 3 players who bring in 1 to 4 sponsors, and then others who just bring in 1 sponsor. That's good perspective. She said that the kids camp that they host with the boys program is super successful because the kids are excited to be with high school kids, and it's a boys and girls combined, so parents can send all their kids to one place, which is beneficial for the parents. I think that the last tip for this is that it's important to remind kids that if they want new jerseys, different practice equipment, or team jackets, they have to raise the money for it. And Tiffany says that if she gives them a couple of things to focus on with a rough idea of how much it will cost, it helps motivate them, or at least enough kids to get the momentum started. So I hope that's helpful. The rest of you are also fundraising. I didn't get a chance to reach out to Miss Gelder. She's our QSA advisor, but she does lunch fundraisers through QSA, and she just has like a bunch of like dollar items, and they are quickly making money. She sells them at lunch, and it's been a pretty successful way of getting money. So if you have questions about how that works, you can totally reach out to her directly. Hopefully you have her contact info. Okay. The last thing to wrap up is just account basics. So ASB oversees all of your accounts. Think of ASB as like the head account of all your sub accounts. But ASB also has their own sub account, ASB General. Why does that matter to you? So we budget for ourselves for things like dances and assemblies and other events, but we also can give money to you through a formal request with Deborah. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps get us all on the same page. It was a quick overview. We could probably spend more time doing this, but I wanted to give you a quick overview, especially with the budgeting, which is going to be sent out very soon. So please get that submitted by the deadline. And I also wanted to help provide some ideas for fundraising for you, so that you can bounce ideas off of each other. In general, I suggest reaching out to other advisors and talking, even if it's like a sport in a club, like drama and baseball or something. Collaborating can be really helpful, and making sure you guys are running effective fundraisers to make more money. ASB general account has been taxed quite a bit this year. We're feeling the effects of where the district is in financially, and we're kind of picking up some of the burden that we had, or that the district had originally, and now we're kind of picking that up. So please keep that in mind, that like the more effective that your fundraisers can be and the more kind of self-sufficient that you and your club or sport can be, the better it is. Last thing I want to add is, if you are a coach, Coach Leopard does the the budgeting for you, but I highly encourage you to connect with your team, especially the underclassmen who will be coming up, and then share those thoughts with Coach Lep, so that way you guys can get a really good budget developed for yourselves. Okay. Thank you for listening. Please reach out anytime throughout the year with questions, and I look forward to seeing your budgets submitted very soon. Okay, thank you. Bye.